Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Gags Tandon show. Sorry, it's not Gags tonight. It's me and Tad taking you through a massive performance this evening from Liverpool. Tad, 13 points clear of Arsenal. How good was that performance for you tonight from the Reds?
So controlled. I think it personified what Arne Slot has brought to this club,
Yeah.
which is just control, knowing when we need to accelerate, knowing when we need to slow down, and just managing the game. And it's a beautiful thing to see, especially when you consider how much pressure is probably on these players at the moment.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind. Well, we're playing like a whirlwind in terms of a hurricane, really. We're not stopping this season, mate, are we? We'll go through a couple of the comments as well, chat. If you are obviously watching on YouTube, do make sure you do drop a super chat. It goes a long way in supporting me, Tad, and everyone involved at Anfield Index and across the board as well. But yeah, whatever you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or across any social media platform, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below as well. Obviously, we'll get straight, obviously, into the first half analysis. Tad, and it was a wait 1 second. We'll bring up the statistics really here, chat. As you can see, we'll bring up the first 11 minutes into the game. Tad, a great start for Liverpool. Obviously, the big moments, only one big moment in that game in the first opening 45, and that come on the 11th minute for Dominik Szoboszlai. What really impressed you about that? And it was great initial build up off the left hand flank, but for me, it was just the hunger from Lucho Diaz. Really, we've seen in recent weeks, but just take us through your thoughts on that first goal for Dominic.
Yeah, obviously, Diaz gets a lot of praise for you know getting the ball into the box, getting it to Dominik Szoboszlai. And I think in previous seasons, we cried out for a Gerrard replacement, someone that is going to get us goals from midfield. And every now and then, midfielders do pop up and get us goals, but it seems like Szoboszlai really is the person that's taken that mantle on. He's the one that's running into the box as sort of the supporting runner. Does it slightly different to Gerrard? Gerrard probably hits it a lot harder than Szoboszlai does, it seems, at the moment. Szoboszlai is just passing it into the goal, it seems, at the moment, which is quite brilliant to see. And once again, is a microcosm of what Slot's brought into the team, of that control thing. He's literally side passing it into the net every single time he's scoring at the moment, which is a beautiful thing to see. But yeah, I think the goals from midfield is massive. You can't expect, especially if you're going to be champions, you can't expect all your goals to come from up front. We certainly can't expect all of them to come from Mo Salah. So it's always good when defenders are getting goals, if it's from like set pieces and stuff like that. And then obviously the midfielders contributing as well in goals is so key in what could be a really special season.
It was that little pause, as you said there, Tad. It was like just an intelligent pull off the Newcastle centre half, just drops a good 3-5 yards off the likes of Dan Burn. But yeah, he's playing with such a full breath of confidence now, isn't he? Szoboszlai, as you said, I think that's been one of his biggest facets in Germany. Obviously, prior to his move, we've seen a lot of compilations of him scoring from range. But I think, yeah, it's how important, not just for this season, but for Liverpool going forward, is it important that Dominik Szoboszlai just continues this great momentum in front of goal? But it's just his work rate it was a massive facet in terms of his time in Germany. But I think in the Premier League, it's such a big attribute to have, obviously from a technical point of view, but off the ball movement, especially at the heart of a Liverpool midfield. His work rate over not just tonight, but the last couple of weeks has been so impressive, hasn't it?
Yeah, really impressive. And it's taken him a while to get to find himself in a team like Liverpool. And I think it's one of the underrated things that we look into when we're looking at young footballers is, one, his age. Mo Salah called him a kid the other day. He really is, in football terms, he still is a young player. And then two, you're coming to a club like Liverpool Football Club that already has established players like the Mo Salahs, like the Virgil van Dijks. yes, he's used to at the Leipzigs, at the in his national team, he's used to being the man. He now has to come to Liverpool and try and find where he fits in. You don't want to step on any toes. He can't come in and be the man straight away, but he's got to figure out where he can impact the game. And I think he's starting to slowly get into that, which I think is really good to see.
Yeah, it's really positive, mate, isn't it? And long may it continue. I think, as you said, he's only 22 years old, Dom. As you said, very, very young in his footballing career, but I tell you, from an international stage as well, he's doing really well, bud, isn't he? So, yeah, big up there, Matthias. Get to a couple of comments as well. I'm just hearing a bit of feedback there, Taz. Don't know. I don't know. It might be my headset, but I'll check that. Evening, big up there, Matthias. Yeah, it's a week off after 5 matches and 15. They need a proper energising before a huge match against PSG. Just happy that LFC don't play Man City in the FA Cup this weekend as well. Yeah, Matthias, getting a good little rest. How important do you reckon that's going to be, Tad, in terms of the rest, really, especially going into that Paris Saint-Germain game? Because it's such a big effort, really, getting consumed by all these players, really, mate, isn't it?
I think it's important because I think we've seen throughout this season, Slot doesn't necessarily trust all the players that he has available to him. Some players are getting good minutes, some of them just aren't, and maybe that might be a criticism that some people might have of him, of why isn't Harvey Elliott coming on when we're 2-0 up, or stuff like that. So, but he seems to be going with a smaller squad at the moment, and if you are going to go with that, you can't be competing in every single tournament. I'm sorry, that's just the reality of the situation. And I would assume for the majority of Liverpool fans, the big tournaments are Champions League and Premier League. For me personally, it's Premier League. Champions League is a cherry on top. I want this Premier League title. I think anytime this version of, this Man City, and I say this version of Man City since they got the new owners, anytime they're not in the title race, you have to go and win it. You have to capitalize on those moments. So for me, the Premier League has been the number one priority. Champions League, it's a cherry on top. It would be nice to go far in that competition as well. If we don't, I'm okay with it as long as we get the Premier League title. And then obviously FA Cup, the history that it has, the importance it has, especially for people that live and have grown up in the UK. It's a massive tournament, but we've got to look at we've got to pick our battles this season. And I think he's done the right thing. He gave the squad players an opportunity to be able to play this weekend. Yeah. If you look at the likes of Harvey Elliott, they played against Plymouth. The Chiesas, they played against Plymouth. If they had done their job, in that fixture, they would have been playing this weekend. So it's not like he completely disregarded that tournament. He had players in there in the Plymouth game that should have gone and won that game. But I do think it's a blessing in disguise that they didn't. Gets some of our players a bit of rest and also some time on the training pitch.
Yeah, because Plymouth got Manchester City, didn't they? So it could have been, that would have been City away. It's that would have been crazy, mate. But 100%. Let's get to a couple of comments as well. Yeah, we'll read that one there, Matthias. Storm's made up all the way from Mongolia. Big up, Storm. I know it's the early hours over there, mate. And hopefully have a lovely rest of your day, buds. Tony, I'll rewatch the watch along, buds, anyway. It's probably my audio and the volume anyway. More happy than Dom's off the ball movements. I think we all are, mate, 100%. Slots, mistake. I think that's a bit harsh there, Paolo, really. I think he's a very good squad player. I think he knows himself, Endo, but what you need is that work rate. And certainly, but as obviously Robert's agreeing with you there, Taz, as always, the Prem is the priority. It'd be nice if we could have a couple of bit of dominance over the next couple of seasons, wouldn't it, Taz? If we can just go possibly not getting too ahead of myself, but we can go back to back in the Prem. That's how confident I am. I think probably all of us, but yeah, it's the bread and butter really, in it, mate, in terms of just get back to your basics and we can actually celebrate if we can do 13 points clear now tonight off the back of results had that, and we can actually properly celebrate a league title in front of the fans. That's going to be massive.
And the important thing as well is if we do go back to back, we'll finally go ahead of Man United again.
Oh yes.
So there's that as well. But yeah, I think it's shaping up to be a really nice end of the season. Especially I'm sure many people by now will know the Arsenal result. So if obviously we don't want to jump ahead too far, but I think as fans we're allowed to. As fans, if we can't enjoy this time as fans, when can we enjoy being a fan? It's for the players, it's for the managers and the staff to focus on next game matters. I think as fans we should be as excited as we want to be and enjoy the journey. But I think winning the league early definitely gives us a better chance in the Champions League, because then we can start using the league to build I don't know, fitness or tactics or whatever, awareness for the Champions League. And then we're getting into very exciting territory.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday, but it's going to be a big game, mate. This is what, to add an overs. This is what we crave, really, the big European nights. That's what we've been built on anyway. But quickly, as we said, chat, it was anyone just tune in, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below. Do drop a like on the video. And subscribe if you are new to the Anfield Index across all social media platforms. Give me 1 second. Let's get this. So we'll quickly rattle through a couple of the. There we go. The first half. Obviously, the most important statistic was the score line. Obviously, Dom's goal. Expected XG was a 0.28. We've mentioned that as well. Great movement from Dom. But in terms of the first 45 minutes for Liverpool, 64% possession to Newcastle's 36%. But Tad, this is what Liverpool have done so well, especially tonight, in terms of just lucky amongst the total shots. Newcastle in the first opening 45 was only that chance that fell to Wilson, which should have really finished. If that was Isaac, if he was on the pitch, probably would have finished that, mate. But what were your thoughts on just the general sense of the opening 45 from Liverpool? How your thoughts in terms of how Liverpool dealt with Newcastle's threat?
Yeah, I think Newcastle were always going to be willing to let us have the ball. And try and break on the counter attack, try and be physical when they can be. And, it seems like the referees are allowing a lot of these physical games to play out and maybe not giving the fouls that you'd expect them to be giving. So it plays into the favor of a Newcastle to be physical, to sit back, try and soak up the pressure and hopefully get Liverpool on the counter attack. But the important thing for Liverpool is the concentration. When we've got so much possession, 64% possession, just don't concede, especially when you've got like a Mo Salah playing the way he's playing at the moment. He's going to get us a goal, whether it's him scoring or assisting. That's just what he's doing at the moment. So just keep the concentration at the back, be patient and don't concede, and good things will happen.
100%, mate. It's like, I don't know if we were in the team or any Liverpool fan at the back, like if we were Salah, like as you said there, Salah's getting a goal and assist every game. Disappointed that he didn't get a goal tonight, Mo. What are you doing, love?
Yeah, I know. We should probably just
could have had an hat-trick of assists if he had. We'll get on to the second half. Diaz nearly fell over the holdings anyway. He tried his best to get onto that, but we'll get to that anyway. But yeah, as Tads has said there, chat, very dominant performance by Liverpool. I think that's what we are seeing now. I think there's still levels to this Liverpool team, isn't it, Tad? Would you say? I think there's been games this season, especially tonight as well. We haven't really had to break a sweat, really. I think we've been playing in like first or second gear, but as we said, when you've got players like Salah, you can compensate really for that. And I think in the first opening 45 and even in the game in general, reserved quite a lot of energy as well, the way we played. Would you say?
I think there's similarities to when we last won the league title in terms of we looked like a lot of the games we were in third gear and we were waiting to see if we needed to step it up. And if we did need to, we had it in the tank. I'm pretty sure this Liverpool team and hopefully we get to see one of these games and maybe it comes up against PSG where teams really go at us and we get to actually open our legs up and go gung-ho, because I think we can go with the best of them. If teams want to go end to end, ultra attacking football, I'm pretty sure I'd back Liverpool against any team in the world. But at the moment, we don't need to do it. And the important thing is, because it's such a long season, don't do it when you don't need to do it. There will be a time where we'll need to do it. And we've seen in previous seasons with Jurgen Klopp teams where we get to the business end of the season and the players are just absolutely goosed. Salah is no longer the Mo Salah that we saw early in the season. And obviously, the brilliant work that gets done with the under pressure guys on Anfield Index, cheap plug. But if you listen to their podcast, you'll definitely get to hear about, which players maybe are hitting the red zones and stuff like that in terms of fatigue. But we're trying to manage that in these games of, yes, we know some of our players are playing a lot more minutes than they played in previous seasons. So let's not expend too much energy in certain games when we don't need to. We kind of keeping teams at arm's length at the moment, especially with Newcastle. I swear, if Newcastle had scored, we probably would have gone and scored two or three more, just because we would have been angry at them doing that. It's kind of like a mercy kill to say, look, we'll beat you 2-0. Don't do anything silly, and we can both, focus on the next game after this one.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And plug away, obviously, the lads on the under pressure. Obviously, Sai and Hamza and Bart and all the lads on there. Check it out, lads, if you haven't already done so. One of the many great episodes, or one of the great podcasts as well across Anfield Index. So, yeah, chat. Obviously, there's a little preview on YouTube as well. There's a good 10-15 minutes of that. Check it out. And if you want to become an Anfield Index Pro member, you can certainly do so for £3.33 a month. And it just opens up all the great shows across all the platforms as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's get to a couple of comments as well. Ralph saying, great name, by the way, Ralph Erin. Beautiful football today. It wasn't too bad, was it? You never walk alone, Foodie. Big up, mate. Arsenal must be feeling deflated today. Tad, obviously we spoke about Arsenal dropping points, but yeah, it's just focusing on ourselves, mate, and it just goes to show the utter confidence, the utter belief. But it off the back of tonight's performance, as we said, it just brings that hopefully guard of honor a bit closer, doesn't it?
Oh, imagine the guard of honor against Arsenal. But you mentioned the whole focusing on ourselves, and I think you've been preaching that for a lot this season, and I think it works really well. Or we've seen the perfect example of that, because last week or over this past, 10 days or so, Arsenal weren't focusing on themselves. They were focusing on what we were doing and trying to get motivation from that. And that ended up putting so much pressure for them against in that West Ham game, where they end up going and not winning the West Ham game, and their whole season felt like it was done.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're focusing on yourself, we drew 2 games. Yeah. If we were focusing on what Arsenal were doing and we drew to Everton, we drew to Aston Villa, we probably would have panicked.
I was quickly on that side to that point as well. We've done that in times in certain seasons. Don't remember under Rodgers and other seasons under Rafford as well, where we've, as a fan, we've learned the hard way in terms of, as we said as well, haven't we? But that's a great point. Do you reckon, that goes down to the leaders, would you say, in the dressing room in terms of just the focus on the game?
Definitely. It goes down to the leaders. It goes down to the managers also in terms of experience. Remember, Arne Slot's won things, at previous clubs. Arteta maybe he's won things as an assistant manager, but not as a manager himself. Yes, he's won the FA Cup. He will mention that he's won the Community Shield as well. Fair play to him for that. But especially the leaders in the dressing room, Arsenal don't really have a lot of players that have influence, that have won a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yes, you'll have the squad players like the Jorginhos who have, won things at Chelsea, but they're not the leaders in the dressing room. They're not the ones that are going to be standing up and trying to dictate how things are being done. And I think that's such an underrated thing. Yes, all the signings that they've made, the over 600 million that they've spent on players, but bringing in players that have been there and won it and have an influence on the squad. I don't know if Arsenal have done that. Whereas for Liverpool, we certainly got an abundance of those type of players.
Yeah. Long may it continue, mate. Going into the window, obviously, just good luck to anyone trying to break into this Liverpool team. It's next summer with the business we do. Obviously, it was Liverpool. We'll quickly go to have a little look at the first half. Obviously, conclude really. I think in terms of obviously, as we said, there was 5 total shots for Liverpool in that first opening 45. 1 shot on target, which was the most important from Dominik Szoboszlai. Newcastle with the big chance, as we mentioned, the big opportunity that Callum Wilson did have. Accurate passes, Liverpool 89 to obviously Newcastle's 84. So very, very well done from Liverpool in terms of just keeping that ball rotation, but an absolute hammering really from Liverpool in every aspect, really. Obviously, in terms of the starting 11 as well, as obviously Tad did allude to, we've seen Kostas Tsimikas come in down that left-hand side. Obviously, Trent played another big 77 minutes in the game as well, but yeah, it was a big performance. Obviously, Diaz coming in and obviously Jota. In terms of, could you summarise the first 45 minutes from you, Tad, in terms of your analysis of the game? It was just how would you describe it in terms of that?
I think it was sort of a fact-finding half for me. We were prodding, we were trying to figure out their defensive shape. I did find that Trent was quite aggressive with his passing. I don't know if you felt the same way as well. Yeah. He was playing a lot of balls in between the lines, trying to bypass the midfield at times and go straight into, whether it's Szoboszlai that was drifting forward or Jota. So yes, we were doing those aggressive passes in there, but a lot of it was trying to move them around, figure out what they were trying to do defensively, and then obviously, hopefully try and get the goal. It helps when you score a goal early as well, because that probably relieves a lot of the pressure on what you're trying to do, and you can be a lot more patient than maybe if it was still 0-0. So yeah, it was vital to get that early goal.
100%, mate. Isaac. So yeah, Foodie. The thing is, he's going to come into Liverpool. If he is, I think we'd all take Isaac. But I think obviously we got Jota at the club. There'll be a lot of business done at the top end of the pitch, and there'll be plenty of shows on Anfield Index as well, chap. But so yeah, we give him a little taster. It was good to hear the Anfield atmosphere tonight, Tad. Obviously, we had the comments from Virgil van Dijk coming into this game in the pre-match programme, very much bigging and very much imploring really that Liverpool crowd to come in and sing our songs. But as goes to your great point before, top of the show, in terms of just enjoy it. Like, we've got this, obviously 1 out of those 7 Premier League games has gone, 6 more left at Anfield in the Prem, and just if anyone's had the privilege, Dad, or even watching this Liverpool side from around the world, it's such a joy when we're playing so well and such promising football is being played, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really good to see Anfield come alive as well. And we certainly saw last week, yes, it's an away game, but that first time when the fans started singing, "Now You're Gonna Believe Us," that gave me goosebumps. It reminded me of the Man United game at home when they started singing it. It feels like Anfield knows that we're going to go and win it. It felt like after the McAllister goal, the players now know that we're going to go and win it. So if we can take that sort of atmosphere as fans into each of our home games, I think that can bleed onto the pitch in a positive way, and hopefully it does become true.
Yeah, channeling that Anfield atmosphere has been so instrumental to this club, mate, isn't it? In the 70s and the 80s and 130 odd years of supporting Liverpool, every Reds down the years and for the years to come as well. Let's hope we can somehow regain that great atmosphere over the years to come as well. So obviously it was as Tad has said before, solid first half performance by Liverpool. Obviously, if you're just tuning in, obviously, you've missed the game or whatnot. Dominik Szoboszlai on the 11th minute took the lead for Liverpool, really. And seems to go into the second half, similar story, Tad, in terms of Liverpool regaining large spells of the possession, really. But this goes to show in terms of just a total utter control. But Dominik Szoboszlai, my man's got 3, 4, 5 lungs. I don't know how many he's got, but I wouldn't mind one anyway myself, because I tell you what, the work he puts in, mate, not just from a technical point of view, but off the ball. As we've said, I think the combination play between him and Gravenberch Thoughts on the midfield tonight, especially in that second half for you?
I think just on Szoboszlai, and then we can go into the wider midfield. I think the unfortunate thing for him is this energy that he's showing now. He has been showing since he came to Liverpool. It's just that he wasn't necessarily getting the end product that people were anticipating when he came, which is probably where a lot of the criticism came for him. If we do go and look at it, but in terms of the midfield, maybe surprised that all of them played again, but I think it's wiser to, at the moment, play them, win the games, and then take them off, rather than needing to bring them on if we get in trouble. If we can, like today, get 2-0 ahead, take off Gravenberch and rest them that way, and try, and as I keep trying to say, win the league as early as possible.
That's it, there we go.
I think that's probably maybe the approach that they're going to be taking at the moment is, yes, we've got, and the thing with like the Endo's great coming on late in games, breaking up play, terrorizing people when they're trying to come and get back into the games. It might not be as effective him starting the game. So I'm okay with the approach at the moment. Obviously, we're all just still holding our breath every time one of them goes down with after being kicked or something like that. But yeah, I think that's the approach that we're taking at the moment.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Everyone was like, Van Dijk took a big fall in the second half as well.
Oh my god, yeah.
And thankfully, he got absolutely suplexed by big Dan Burn, and he's a big lad himself anyway. He's about 7 foot. But yeah, thankfully, it's always difficult when players do go down holding the back or whatnot. But Landon, he's thankfully he was okay. Let's go through a couple of the comments as well. Obviously, as you can see there, the side, obviously, Arsenal, if you've missed the scores, are coming in from work or whatnot late tonight. Obviously, Arsenal dropping a very big couple of points. But as we found out already this season, Forest, such a difficult ground, difficult team to very much play up against. But as we said at the top of the show, Liverpool getting a massive 3 points tonight, getting us that bit more closer to our number 20th this season. Well, that's long may continue anyway. Odegaard's obviously Jan. Yeah, he's take the captaincy off him. Being honest, he's a top player, but I think it's not. Sometimes it can't be the Odegaard show, but it's difficult. But thankfully, Liverpool have got enough leaders within our squad as well. Frenchie, Frenchie, very good win. Big up there, mate. It was Foodie, 11 points from 15. Great achievement from the team. Yeah, Tad, that's phenomenal, really, mate, isn't it? When we all analysed those fixtures, it was a difficult, very difficult period. I thought, yeah, I think at the time the draws were difficult. I think me off the back of it, I was disappointed, especially the way in which the Everton game did transpire, mate. But it's good going, that 11 from 15. Are you happy?
I'm ecstatic. I wasn't expecting it, especially as you say, after the two results that we saw the Everton and the Aston Villa one. Not necessarily that we weren't playing well in those games, but just that if you draw to Everton and then draw to Aston Villa, you now need to go and win against Man City. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas if you reverse it and you beat Everton and you draw with Man City, you're still happy, with that kind of result. So that was the worry for me. But the team have stepped up. They've been playing phenomenal football. They've looked a lot calmer. They've looked like the experienced team between them and Arsenal. And yeah, it's a phenomenal haul of points considering the fixtures we had and the pressure that we had as well.
Yeah, 100%, mate. You look at that. Played Tottenham, Bournemouth, such a difficult ground to go to away from home. I think a lot of teams have found that. Wolves as well, Everton. I'm still annoyed by that game, mate, as you probably know. If you watch me watch along, got a lot of messages off me, Everton, mate, but we will be there in a new stadium. We'll win our first game in the new stadium as well.
We've already scored in the new stadium, by the way. Well, one of our fans has.
Yeah, so it's like the very first goal, Tad, as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, love it. There's reds absolutely everywhere around the world, so you'll find a Liverpool supporter eventually. But yeah, chat. Obviously, the big game on Paris Saint-Germain next week. Obviously, this time next week, hopefully we're speaking about, everyone's speaking about the hopefully a good result in the Parc des Princes anyway. But we'll speak about that when we get to there anyway, mate. But in terms of the overall defensive display from Liverpool tonight, Tad, in regards to obviously Liverpool's back line, just talk us through a couple of performances that maybe you're impressed with the lads at the back for you.
Yeah, I think overall everyone was impressive. I thought Trent was up for this game from an attacking perspective and a defensive perspective. We all know, obviously, defensively is probably where he gets a lot of the criticism, but I thought he held up quite well. He had a few blocks in there, was sort of, you saw him happy when he was doing things defensively, which is always good to see when defenders are doing that. I thought Konate and Van Dijk were quite composed. Van Dijk looked like he could play another 90 minutes and he wouldn't be phased. And then Tsimikas coming in, I thought he did well. I think it's such an underrated thing. If you listen to players talk about having to come into a team when you're a squad player or rotation player, how difficult it is to get into the rhythm of the team, to get into the cadence of, who's making certain runs and when they make the runs, and then obviously still having to worry about your own game as well. I thought Tsimikas did really well coming in, and we all know that position's probably one that maybe people will be looking to improve in the summer. But for now, we've got what we've got. I think Robertson can get to Robertson levels every now and then. He can't do it consistently anymore. That's just age. It catches up to all professional athletes. We just hope that he can roll back the years enough times this season to get us over the line, type of thing. And then Tsimikas deputizing. Personally, I would want to see a lot more of him, but again, all he can do is give performances like this, be solid, and make the manager have to make tough decisions. You want the manager to come out from this game and think, "Oh, do I start Tsimikas against PSG now off the back of that performance, or do I go back to Robertson?" So yeah, I thought very solid defensively. Alisson had some key moments as well, which is always good to see. I've maybe had a lot of egg on my face this season because I'm a huge Alisson fan. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. And obviously he's not necessarily lived up to that standard, but that's a really high standard. But if he continues to slowly get that confidence going, obviously he had the injuries, which messes you up a bit. He's going to be really important for us when it comes to winning these titles and winning trophies, and how many we do win. 100%. We want Alisson back at his best.
Yeah, no, I've got egg on my face this season as well, mate. I was critical. Obviously, I think the standards from this Liverpool team in regards to, I wanted more from Szoboszlai, and I think I wanted more from Diaz. I'd hold my hands up this season, and we're getting that this year, certainly from Dominik Szoboszlai. But I think these players set themselves, and as you said, with Ali, mate, I think we're very blessed to have him. Obviously, Mavrashvili coming in the end of the end of this season anyway. He's going to create that competition, and yeah, I 100% agree with you, mate. He's the best in the world. Him and Courtois, anyway, have been for the last 5-6 seasons anyway. I think they've been so instrumental. And even in the 70s and 80s, Liverpool are very renowned for having a top goalkeeper between the sticks anyway. And we've got Brazil's number one, even though he doesn't get selected by Brazil, which does me hurting. Probably yours, Dad, as well. But it's good rest if Alisson doesn't play in those games. You're spot on about Costas, Dad. I think it's a great point you raised in terms of coming in out from the cold into the obviously Liverpool starting 11. I think his passing accuracy was really good tonight, as you can see there. 92 percentile in terms of 56 out of his 61 he made tonight, which was good in that regards. Tackles won 75% from Kostas Tsimikas. 3 out of his 4 tackles he won, which is all you can ask for, really. And obviously his ground duels won 6 out of 7. So tell you what, one of the best Costas performances we've seen of the season, really, mate, which is what we love to see, really. Obviously Lucho Diaz getting the assist tonight, mate. Similar coming back into the Liverpool team. Obviously he had a very good performance against Manchester City, but he's been in and out the last couple of weeks. But I think since when he plays, and especially playing him in his best position, Tad, I don't know how you feel, but I think obviously with Jota leading the line, but it's such a, not a reminder for all of us, but I think it just goes to show Diaz, if he plays for Colombia, when he plays for Liverpool down that left-hand channel, he's one of the when he's in form, in tip-top form, one of the best left wingers in world football for me, mate.
He looks a lot more free, if that makes sense. His movement is a lot more fluid. It's because it comes natural to him. He knows what he's doing when he gets the ball out wide and he's squaring up a defender and he's going to be running at him and he's cutting in and those kind of things. So it's good to see him back on that left-hand side. Obviously, maybe he feels the pressure as well, knowing Gakpo's coming back. So again, it's another position where you're creating competition, which is what you want. You want these players to be feeling that pressure. Obviously, you want them to channel it in a good way. But if we're getting a Robertson and Tsimikas battle for the rest of the season, that only bodes well for Liverpool. Yeah. Similarly, if we're getting a battle between Luis Diaz and Gakpo, that only benefits Liverpool because they're going to be elevating each other and going to, new heights in order to keep the jersey. So yeah, Diaz will come into training next week, or, they'll probably have a rest tomorrow, come into training on Friday and be saying, well, I got an assist. I get to keep the jersey. That's what you want. Yeah. And then Gakpo coming on off, could have probably got a goal or two in this game. So I'm impressed with his performance. Happy he got a run at that left-hand side. As I said, Diaz, not necessarily as electric as Mane, but probably more, skillful than Mane. Like, he's more street ball than Mane, if that makes sense. Yeah. So seeing him in full flight, taking players on, is always my favorite version of Luis Diaz. I like him running with the ball at pace, making defenders have to make decisions. And we got to see quite a bit of that in this game. And then obviously did well to get the assist. And it looks like it's something that they worked on in training, because he didn't even look up to see where Szoboszlai was. He just knew straight away he's going to be, dropping back, not necessarily running into the chicken box, and he was there to be found. And so that's really good to see, and hopefully it continues.
100%, mate. Chat, let us know your thoughts. And obviously Liverpool attackers, very promising performance by the lads up front. So Szoboszlai obviously getting a crucial goal, as you said. Who's your man of the match tonight, Taz, for you?
I think Szoboszlai for me, definitely. We got to see the off the ball stuff. We got to see the on ball stuff. Probably could have gotten a second goal as well. When it just went wide, another one that he was trying to pass into the net. I thought his all-round performance deserved the man of the match shout for me. And for you?
Go with Dom, mate. I'm made up. Once at I'm trying to think in terms of the other performances. I was great point you raised with Costa, so he had a good game. But yeah, it has to be Dom, especially was it the City game where he was just flat on his chest? He was like us after the last couple of weeks. We just chill on the couch, or we going to get massive sigh of relief anyway. How can we not speak about Salah, mate? Another assist. He could have had magical Mo. Obviously, we've been about the second half. I think Chat's already alluded to a couple of Trivella passes. I think that's the technical word. I'm probably even wrong there. But lovely outside the foot ball from Salah. I think you and Gags mentioned it last week. He's getting a lot more efficient, Mo. I don't know how, but I've run out of superlatives ready to describe the Egyptian. He's so good, isn't he?
The game has slowed down for him, and which is the purest moment for a professional athlete, is when everyone else is at times 2 speed and you're at times 1, and you get to see everything happening in slow motion, and you can dictate how things happen. And it's so beautiful to see that he's gotten to that point. And I was speaking to someone, I think it was earlier today, and I was saying, it's from a fantasy football perspective, but I think it still relates to, just normal football in any case, is I've had Mo Salah as my captain for pretty much the whole season. I'd say 90% of my fantasy season this year. And my logic behind it was, he's having a Lionel Messi type season. And if you had Lionel Messi in fantasy football, why would you not captain him every week? You would. That's what Mo Salah is producing. And I think it's a shame that maybe it's because he plays for Liverpool, maybe because he's not, I don't know, outspoken in the way that they want him to be outspoken, but he's not celebrated the way he should be. This season has not been celebrated the way it should be. What Mo Salah is doing, as I said, is what Lionel Messi was doing. He's 7, if I'm not mistaken, he's now 6 goal contributions behind what Messi was doing at age 32 in Barcelona. He's tied Cristiano Ronaldo now, if I'm not mistaken, what Cristiano Ronaldo was doing at age 32 at Real Madrid. That's the level of player that we have at Liverpool Football Club at the moment, and that should be highlighted from Liverpool fans, especially the pundits and the commentators should be highlighting this. They should be celebrating this. This is magical. This surely is what you want from the Premier League. You want the best players in the world playing in the Premier League. While we have the best player in the world playing in the Premier League, but I don't feel like the Premier League is acting like we have the best player playing for us at the moment.
Yeah. Could you imagine if we played for Man United?
Oh my God.
That's thankfully Mo's playing in the red shirt for Liverpool. But yeah, it's phenomenal, mate. I think there's eras of Liverpool's fans out there that grew up watching Kenny, the Ian Rushes, the Barneses, the Keegans as well. But we're living in a modern day superstar, mate. Dad and Red's just every 90 minutes that we're very blessed to watch this. None of us, as we said at the top of the show, none of us are taking it for granted. But let's hope. Whatever happens come at the end of May, he gets a contract, but time will tell. Hopefully he signs. But yeah, I tell you, he's defies gravity in every essence, really. If it was the outside the boot chance, obviously for Lucho, as we said, Lucho nearly ended up in the back of the cop. He tried to he went out, he tried his best there, did he, in terms of just lobbing himself into the far post. Might have nearly injured himself anyway, but yeah, I don't know if you picked up on this or chat as well, Dad. It seems like the way they reacted to Salah as well on that assist, they were all surrounding him. Is he going? Is he not? We'll find out. Hopefully he doesn't leave. But I think the way the players reacted from him, like they know he's doing such a great job, but just goes to show how much respect and admiration all the players in that Liverpool team have for him, really, because he's unbelievable, isn't he?
I wouldn't be surprised if they want him or they're cognizant of the Henry record. Obviously, De Bruyne tied it with 20 assists. I believe Salah is now 3 behind them.
So yeah.
So that's definitely one of the targets for him this season. We know Mo Salah sets targets in terms of goals, assists, performance levels at the beginning of the season. He keeps them very close to his chest. He doesn't reveal what they are, even to his teammates. But I'm sure that's one that clearly everyone knows he's going to be targeting and hoping to get. But even also the goals, you could see late on in the game, the players were trying to find him. Maybe at times where another pass was open, I could notice they were like, okay, wait, where's Mo? Is he in a dangerous situation? Can I get him the ball? And he was, maybe taking a shot when he should pass. But I do find it always funny, the people calling him selfish at times. And it's like, he's got 16 assists. Like, what more do you want? Let him take the shot. Let him take the shot. It's fine. So yeah, I think I think it's definitely something that they've got in the back of their minds of what records can we get Mo Salah this season.
Yeah, just let us know your thoughts on Mo. But this is mad when you've got. I think it's going to bode well for Liverpool come at the end of May, mate. It's like when you've got a player in such good amount of form, it's going to open up channels within games that you've got about 3-4 players on Salah. It's like, what do you do as a what would you do as a defending team to come up against Salah? Do you put 2-3 men on him? If you do that case, then you've got Gakpo, you've got Diaz to very much punish him in behind. How would you, if you were a defender, come up against Salah, like defend against him? Or at this moment in time, is it impossible to defend Salah with the stuff he's doing on a pitch?
At the moment, it is. Salah's got a lot more to his game, and I hope I'm not being disrespectful, but I think he has a lot more to his game than Iron Robin had at the time in his peak. But We all knew Iron Robin was cutting in onto his left foot and wrapping the ball far post. And it didn't matter what defenders were doing. That's what was going to happen. That was the end result. It as I said, Mo Salah has a lot more, to his game from that perspective, in terms of he can go inside, he can go outside, he can hit the byline and cross it. He can do whatever he wants with the ball at the moment. He's got the ball on the string. But I think as a team at the moment, I think the best bet is still to say, we're going to try and mark Mo Salah out of the game and let someone else beat us. Like, if I'm a manager, I'd be pissed off if Mo Salah is the one that beat us, because you know what I mean. And the problem is, even if you do double team him, and we've seen him be double teamed before, this season and previous season, he'll still end up being productive.
Switch the ball over the other wing.
You know what I mean? And it's helpful for Liverpool that Szoboszlai is now getting goals. Gakpo, before he got injured, was getting a lot of goals, because then, that's what opens, the space for Mo Salah, because teams can't afford to leave that much space for a Gakpo or a Szoboszlai anymore. And it makes Mo Salah more devastating. But I know personally, if I was a manager in the Premier League or Champions League, I'm not losing to Mo Salah today. I don't care if Gakpo scores a hat-trick, he can score a hat-trick. I just don't want to be in the highlights package for the Ballon d'Or. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy in the highlights for the Ballon d'Or when he wins it.
Yeah, just absolutely skims past about 5 years. There's mate, the closest of, especially any Arsenal fans getting close to that Ballon d'Or. That's the closest they're getting to one of them anyway. In the next 10 years, on Mo Salah's highlight reel for when he announces he's won the competition anyway.
Exactly.
Chat. Obviously, Alex saying in terms of obviously Slotry. Well, Alex, he gets a lot of praise from every single one of us, really, Reds. Donny, what he's doing is unprecedented, really, in his first season, and it was I tell you what, he done a really good job, Johnny Eisinger, ex-Blue himself, anyway, but he's wearing the Liverpool kit, and I tell you, obviously with the modern technology, obviously he's got an earpiece in, and the lads obviously look like so yeah, Arnie Schlott has about 10 setups in and around his bench anyway, but yeah, we didn't miss him. Today, did we? So yeah, good little rest for Arnold in the stands, really.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about game management for players. What about game management for our manager? Yeah. Maybe he needs, it will keep him fresh for the rest of the season, which is good to see. But yeah, I'm glad that this ban happened at a time when we're already playing well, and it's not affecting us maybe as badly as it could have. You'd imagine if we're in a tough spell and then your manager has to go away, maybe that compounds the situation. But yeah, it's good to see that it didn't affect us too much. I wouldn't be surprised if the team was over prepared for this game, because Schlott knew he wasn't going to be on the sidelines.
In overdrive.
Yeah, that just seems like the type of personality he would have. But yeah, Heitinger did well. The players did well. The fact that you probably wouldn't have known Schlott wasn't on the sideline unless if you were listening on the radio, you wouldn't have known Schlott wasn't on the sideline. Yeah. And that's the greatest testament we can give to him and the staff and the players.
100%, mate. And as we said, even in certain moments under Jürgen, there were certain passages of play that we'd watch on a week-to-week basis, but 100% agree with it. As always, it just goes to show the levels from a training perspective, and then going into obviously this evening's game, it's week after week, but as we know, as the players, the management as well, all of them really contributing to something very special this season. As Alex said there, we can go to bed tonight, or even if you are waking up around the world, 13 points ahead of Arsenal. Tads, will you be consuming a bit of Arsenal content tonight? I know I certainly will be.
The Schadenfreude is absolutely on high alert tonight. It will be a beautiful way to go to bed.
We will be there anyway. Watching Arsenal content, the meltdown, certainly. But as Arsenal fans, the most important thing, let them just whinge. We are the real deal this season, Taz, aren't we? In terms of we're flying. Anything that you wanted to mention in terms of in the game that we might have not mentioned tonight, mate, in terms of certain players or Do you think, obviously, a bit of a conclusion really to tonight's show, mate, from you?
No, I think we've said everything that needed to be said. Huge thank you to everyone that joined us and was commenting, and those that liked the stream and stuff like that. We appreciate all of that stuff. I think it's just a reminder to say enjoy it, because I keep saying that because when we won it last time, maybe I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have, the journey that is, because of the whole, oh my word, I'm worried if I'm going to get egg on my face if we end up not winning it, or I'm trying to be modest because all of my family except for me and my dad are Man United fans, and my best friend is an Arsenal fan, so I'm trying to be humble and enjoy it. Enjoy it, especially when you've got teams like Man City hopping about at the moment. My advice would be enjoy this moment, enjoy this time. It's for the players to worry about not getting ahead of themselves. For us fans, have a good time with it, enjoy it. If you're at the stadium, make it that celebratory atmosphere. I know the players will appreciate it. And then I guess also recognizing that in the Champions League, we've also got business, to take care of there. So it will probably be a different atmosphere in the Champions League. I don't know if you feel that's going to be the case. The Champions League Anfield crowd is going to be different to the Premier League Anfield crowd.
But yeah, certainly, mate. But as you said, it's the journey. I think we've won it 6 times, as we all know. Like, we are the kings of England in terms of the Champions League.
Yeah.
Say clubs out there that haven't won a Champions League, you know who you are. Arsenal. But yeah, even Forest has got more than you. Aston Villa as well. But yeah, it's going to be some journey, mate, and everyone strap in. Buckle your seatbelt, because we're in for an exciting end to the season, and rightly so. And couldn't have said it any better, Tad, really, in terms of just enjoy it every second, every minute, every 90 minutes. Get behind these Reds, and let's hope that we are witnessing something very special this season. And let's hope, come what the end of May, we've got a couple more trophies under our belts. Obviously, the League Cup. Obviously, Isaac wasn't playing tonight. Obviously was rested very much by Newcastle United this evening as well. So yeah, I think from their perspectives, they're home for the top 4 place. Just quickly, would live a little look in terms of the table, and everyone's mentioning Manchester United. Where are they? I don't know, probably mid-table. I don't know. Anyway, but have a little look in terms of where that leaves Newcastle United. It's always lovely to look at the league table just to end off here anyway. Sad. In terms of little slight end in regards to Newcastle, do you anticipate them to get a top 5 finish? Really disappointing result tonight, but
yeah, disappointing result. I think it's imperative for them to get top 5 this season. It looks like England's going to get the 5th spot for Champions League this season, and if that turns out, they need to make top 5. And another cheap plug for maybe my show on the EPL Index side of things, the sister site for Anfield Index. I've been preaching and sitting on a high stand with regards to my opinion on Newcastle needing to make top 4, top 5 this season, because some of the players are going to get sick of the promise of what Newcastle is. They thought they were Man City. You know what I mean? Especially with the money that they are meant to have, which is more than what Man City have or had at the time when Man City, were coming up. So I think a lot of their players are feeling that the process is not going as fast as they would want it to.
Yeah.
And if they don't make Champions League this coming season, you've got the likes of the Guimaraes, the Sandro Tonalis, the Botmans.
I love
record.
Hall's
Hall's a good shot as well. For me, Lewis Miley, I was saying in the group chat, Lewis Miley for me is a very, very tidy player. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind inquiring about him. But obviously the big one is Isak that everyone's looking at. If he's at the moment the hottest property, obviously Gyökeres was what Isak is last season in terms of hype, in terms of that's the striker everyone talks about when you're talking about who should our team sign if we need a striker this coming, transfer window. If you're a team that's got ambition, everyone's going to mention Isak. And he will know that. Newcastle will know that. If Newcastle aren't in the Champions League next season, I think that puts a lot of pressure on them. Yes, the price tag is going to be astronomical because his contract is long. So Newcastle don't need to sell him. They're comfortable financially. They're comfortable from a contract perspective. But we all know players can put pressure. Players can dictate, whether or not they stay or go. And I'm an advocate of players wielding their pressure and weight and influence a lot more than they usually do. And sometimes I get in trouble for that. But I do think if I'm Isak, I'm looking to move, or if I was advising Isak, I'd be saying you got to move if Newcastle don't make the Champions League, and that's got to put a lot of pressure on them. So there's a lot to ride for Newcastle heading into the business end of the season.
100%, mate. And it's obviously we've got a lot of Geordie mates as well. That I keep on winding them up saying we're getting Isaac, and it was a good introduction. Oh, Isaac, I think we remember that first little cameo he had. I think one of his very first Premier League games was against Liverpool. He scored a couple of offside goals, but he's only on the pitch 20 minutes, and he was like, "Oh, not too bad, this fella, is he?" But yeah, top player, and let's hope if he does come to Liverpool next season, he had a little bit of a taste of the atmosphere. Should try turning up at Anfield in the second leg for PSG. It's going to be a lot louder anyway. But yeah, as Liverpool, as we know, Tad, and we all know, we should have the best in class in every position with Liverpool. The levels these lads have put on the pitch as well tonight. But yeah, obviously your man of match, Tad, was obviously Szoboszlai. Mine was Szoboszlai. Chat, if you're watching this on the repeat, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. And yeah, Reds, it's been a fantastic stream once again. Massive thank you for everyone tuning in. Tad, obviously, what podcast have you got coming up this week, mate? I was going to say, plug them, and obviously, any shows coming up this week from you?
I recorded a tad predictable for these fixtures, these midweek fixtures. I've got a break because the weekend's obviously FA Cup, but then next week heading into Premier League action, I will be previewing all of the fixtures, and I do that every single game week. Preview the fixtures. Sometimes I have guests on. At the moment, I've been doing them solo, with potential to have guests on just because of my schedule's been a bit hectic in recent weeks. But yeah, so I will be previewing all of the English Premier League games. Giving you guys my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in the games, what I think the state of certain teams are at the moment. So yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, big up there, mate. Doing a great job as always. Keep it up. And Reds, yeah, obviously get involved in Tad's podcast as well. Get involved with everything that we do across obviously Anfield Index as well. The lads should be still recording there, obviously post-match Raw. That's probably going to be concluding very soon as well. So get involved. Plenty of great content across Anfield Index as well. Obviously, Gags will be joining you for the next Gags Tandon show for Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg. So yeah, the games are coming thick and fast. But Tad, a massive thank you for joining me this evening, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on. And as always, Reds, massive thank you to everyone that has got involved in the comment section below as well tonight, and obviously the Gags Tandon show this evening. But Gags, if you watch it, mate, we'll see you soon, and have a lovely time away as well. And yeah, Reds, as always, big thank you to everyone that is tuned in tonight. You are watching on the repeat. Make sure you do get your comments in the comment section below. Me, Tad, or anyone within the community will always get back to you as well. And if you discovered Anfield Index for the first time, hit that subscribe button down below and drop a follow. But Tad, thank you, mate. And Reds, look after yourself. You never walk alone. Liverpool now go 13 points clear of Arsenal. And I know what I'll be doing in the next 20 minutes. Booting up the TV, watching some great Arsenal fan content anyway. And, well, firstly, I'll watch cover the post-matches from our lads. But, yeah, some of the content will be absolutely flying. But, Tad, as always, everyone, thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you very soon. Plenty of shows to come tomorrow as well. So stay tuned on Anfield Index. Well, for now, Reds, look after yourself. And you never walk alone.